Hi, lovely viewers. It's Dupi Animation again, and I'm sorry for reposting this particular tutorial again. There was a copyright infringement on the previous one, so I had to take it down and re-upload it. So please kindly like and subscribe like you did to the previous one, all right? So let's continue. We are going to be creating my wedding template tutorial, okay? A wedding template tutorial, all right? So let's not waste time. Then start something. All right, so let's open After Effects. Let's create a new composition of, let's say, 1000 by 1000. And let's name it flower. Flower, okay? All right. Now we have this. Now let's load in our assets. So let me pick these ones and bring them in here. Okay. So now I have this image in our composition, our flower composition here. All right. This is the image that I'm going to use as a template for the animation. Okay. So now let me animate the flower. All right. But for starters, let's create a new composition. And let's double click on the ellipse tool to cut it. All right. So from here, come to Effects and type stroke. Stroke. All right. So apply the stroke to it. Then paint style, change from on original image to on transparent. Okay. So you have something like this. All right. So now duplicate it. Duplicate the white solid, then hit S to scale it down a bit so that you have something like this. Okay. Then you animate it. So now let's animate the first one. So end completion, something like, let's start from 0. Let's start animation from 0. Let's set a key. Then somewhere like, let's come somewhere here. Let me see. Stroke effect. Then let's go 100. Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, so this is good. Now the second one, the same thing. So the first animation, the circle started from the left side. So our second one, let's start from the right side. Okay. So I'll go 0 here. Let me hit E on the second one to bring out stroke. Then set a key. Then move the timeline to where the first one ended. Okay. Then on end, let's go 0. Okay. So you have something like this. You see that? You see? All right. So now let's minimize this. Now let me link the second solid layer to the first one. All right. Now let's scale the first one down whilst it have effect on the second one too. All right. So now let's animate our plant or flower. Okay. So I'll pick the pen tool or masking tool, then select a portion of the plant. So from here to here, maybe I'll animate from here to here. Okay. So from there to there. All right. Let me duplicate this. Then off the top one. So now the bottom one, I'll go and select the anchor point tool. Then move the anchor point to this particular portion. Then hit S, which is scale. Okay. Then we go 0. All right. Then we set a key. Then move the timeline to somewhere. So scale, let's come to something like 14 frames. Okay. So we have something like this. You see? As the strokes are animating, the plant is scaling up. All right. Now select the two keys, then ease them. All right. Then go to the graph editor. then pull the left side in so that the scaling animation will be fast at the beginning and slow at the end. So it will be something like this. You see that? Okay. So now let's position it well. So let's move it to somewhere here. Okay. Now the duplicated one, let's bring it back, then take the mask off. Okay. So now that we have taken the mask off, let's crop another point and animate that one too. So let me select this particular portion. Okay, this particular portion. Then go and select the anchor point too. Okay, so then move it to the last end here. The same star. You scale, you hit S. You come 0. You come 0. Then you set a key. Then come to something like 14 frames. Okay. Then you give it 100% figure so that it will scale up. So you have something like this. Easy. It will be scaling up gradually. So now select the two keyframes, then easy ease them again. All right. So that go to the graph editor here, then pull the last end in. Okay, so that you have a smooth animation. You see that? Okay. Mind you, I'm just showing you how I build that particular template. All right. So you follow that, or you can decide to go for a vector image, whereby you don't have to be masking and doing all these things. You just have to scale it and you are gone. All right. So maybe let me bring a new plant. Let me see this one. Okay. So this particular plant, maybe I want it in the middle here. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll crop this one. I'll go for the pen tool, then crop this one too. All right. Then go for the anchor points, then move the anchor points to the middle here. That's where I will scale it. Okay. You can decide to rotate it a bit so that it will adjust where on the line there. Okay, you see that? All right. So now let's scale it also up. Let's go 0, scale. Let's hit S for scale, then 0, then set a key, then come to something like 14 frames, then go 100. Okay. Then after that, you select the two key points, then easy ease them. All right. Then go to the graph editor, then pull the last end in. You see that? So you have something like this. Okay. All right. So now, after you are done with this one, if you want to do a whole lot of things, you can still do. For time's sake, I'll try to keep some of these things short. All right. So maybe this one, I can duplicate this one, then bring it somewhere here. Okay. Then maybe the scaling, where it ends here, I can scale it down a bit more so it will form another star here. Okay. So it depends on the style you want. You just have to know how to adjust whatever you are doing. Okay. So let's keep this one here. Let's leave this one here and continue. We have a lot to cover. All right. So we are done with our flower. Now let's create a new composition. Let's name it picture. Let's name it picture 1. Okay. Then let's give it a width of something like 800. Then a height of 800. 800. Then click OK. All right. So this is going to be our pictures composition. All right. So now let's drag one picture image in. Okay. So we have one here. Let me scale it up a bit more. So this is okay. So this is okay. So now let's animate the picture. we are going to use the scale to animate it. So let's set a key on the beginning, then move the timeline to something like 17 frames or so. Then we scale it up. Okay, scale it up. It has moved out of frame. So in this particular problem, you just have to hold the shift key, then hit P for position. Okay, so you come back here, then set a key on position, then come back here, then move position, move it down a bit so that it will stay in focus. All right, so you have something like this. See that? All right. So after you are done with the animation of the picture, all that you have to do is duplicate the picture twice so that you have 3 pictures. So you hold the Control key, then Control D to duplicate. So now you have 3 pictures here, 3 picture composition here. So you double click on picture 2, then picture 3 to open them. So on picture 2, let's change the image. All right. So you can just drag this image in, okay, then let it cover the entire screen. Then what you do is, let's delete the bottom one. So on scale, let's set a key, then come to something like 17 frames, then increase the size. Okay, so you have something like this. All right, like always, if you see that the images are out of focus, you can just hold the shift key, then hit P, then set animation key on positions 2. All right, then move this one down a bit. So you have it like this so that everything will stay in focus. Okay, now let's come to picture 3. Let's replace this image 2 with another image here. I think this image and picture 3 are the same. So what I will do is I'll hold the Alt key, then click and drag it onto it. Now, they are not the same. They are not the same. So let me undo it, then bring this new image in. Okay. So let me clear this one. Let me scale this one up. Okay. So I'll hit S Shift P, then set key on position, then scale. Then come to 17 frames. Then increase the scale. Okay. Then move position, move it down a bit so that it will stay in focus. All right. So you have this. So we are done with our picture compositions too. We are doing them step by steps. Okay. First we did the flower composition. Now we are done with the picture compositions, which is 3 picture compositions. All right. Okay. So now what we will do next is we are going to create an effect composition, which is a noise or fractal noise. So now let's create a new composition. Let's name it noise. Now let's use our normal HD size. Okay. Let's click OK. All right. So now let's insert in a new solid layer. Let's click OK. Come to Effect and type fractal noise. Fractal noise. Okay. So this is it. Fractal noise. Then apply it. So now you have your fractal noise in here. So let's do some settings here. So now on fractal type, let's change it to dynamic twist. Okay, dynamic twist. Then contrast, let's go something like 150 on contrast. Then let me see. Let's come to something like transform. Scale, let's go 150 on scale. Complexity, let's go something like 20. Then let me see subsettings, scaling. Let me go something like 80. Okay. Then let me see evolution. hold the Alt key, then click on the stopwatch. We are going to set a timer expression here, all right? So let's type something like time times something like 80, then hit OK. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it's working. The evolution is working. Okay, so the next thing to do is we will duplicate the solid layer containing the fractal noise. So let's duplicate this one. Then the one on top, come to the effect column, effect control column. Then you see that fractal noise, it says here invert. So let's take that particular portion to invert it. All right. So now we are done with noise 2. So now let's create another composition. Let's name it plate. Plate 1. All right, let's use HD settings. It's okay. All right. So now we have this. So what we are going to do here is this. We are going to arrange the flower composition inside the plate. Okay. So the flower composition, let's drag the first flower composition in here. Okay. So this one, let's make it 3D. All right. Now let's duplicate it. So now we have 3 in here. All right. The first one, let's hit position, which is P. Then let's type something like minus 600. So that it will move forward. Then the next one, let's hit position and type minus 1200, minus 1200. Okay, so you have something like this. I don't think the spacing is enough. Let me increase it more. So let me change from 600 to something like 800, minus 800. Then this one, let me make it minus 600, 1600. Okay, I think this is enough. So now you have this, all right? Okay, so this is the plate 1 we are doing. So the next thing to do is bring our picture composition here. Our picture composition in here. You see that? Let's make it also 3D. All right? Then you double click on the ellipse tool to cut it. So you have something like this. All right? Now let me scale it down a bit more so that it will fit inside the circle there small. All right. So now you have this. Now let's create a new camera. New camera. Let's go. Let me see something like 28 millimeters. Yeah, I think this is okay. So now let's hit P on camera. Okay. So the camera was started. Let's do an ending position of the camera here. Let's set an ending key on. Let me see, 14 seconds. Let's set a key there. Then bring the timeline backwards. Okay. Then position. Let's go backwards. Right. Let me see something here first. Okay. Okay, so now let's see what we have here. All right. Not bad. So what you have to do here is, we don't want all the flower animations to start at once. Okay, so you have to push some of the timeline backwards. All right, or move it forward. This is the last one. The middle one, let's move it in, drag it in a bit so that it will come a bit later. Then the last one will follow. So you have something like this. So it will be like this. Okay. All right. Simple. So from here, what we are going to do next is to bring the noise effect we created, then the noise composition we created. Let's bring it in and drag it on top of picture 1. Okay. So we have this. Now let's off the eye here so that it will be invisible. All right. So on picture 1, come to effects and type CC image wipe, okay. So CC image wipes on gradient, come to layer, all right, then select noise, okay. So it's the noise effect that is going to use to have effect on the picture, all right. So watch this. Once I increase the completion, watch what happens. You see it's disappearing. Okay, so now let's set completion at 100%. Okay, I want when it catches here before the image starts popping up. Okay, so let me hit E for effect here and set the a key on the completion. Then by the time it reaches 12 seconds or so, it goes 0. Then the image will come in. So you have something like this. You see? You see? Okay. So now let's animate the camera going out. So from here, I'll let it stay here small. Let me see. Comes in gradually, then stay there small. So 17 seconds. 17 seconds is okay. Then it disappears. I think this is okay. So from here, where it starts to disappear, you set a key here on the image wipe. You set an ending key there. Then you move the timeline to something like 18 seconds or so. Then the completion, you go 100% again so that it will disappear. So you have something like this. Then you stay there small. See that? Then it will disappear. All right. So now that you are done with plate 1, this is what we are going to do. We are going to duplicate plate 1 twice. So Control D. So we have 3 plates here. So let's open plate 2 and plate 3. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to replace the picture composition in each of the plates. Okay. So inside plate 3, we have picture 1. We are going to use picture 3 to replace it. So hold the Alt key, then click and drag picture 3 onto picture 1 to replace it. Then we come to plate 2. We select picture 2, hold the Alt key, then click and drag it onto it. So now we are done with the plates. So the final arrangement is going to be our main. All right. So now let's create a new composition, HD size, and name it main. Okay. So this is where we do our final composition. So the first one is what? Plate 1. So let's bring it in. Then the second one is plate 2, then followed by plate 3. Okay. So now let's move them away. So plate 1 starts from here. Okay, let me see when it's disappearing before it will come in. You see how it is? I think it's even too slow. So but it's just the process I'm showing, so you don't have to worry about anything. Okay, you see that? So you have something like this. Okay, so this is how the final arrangement is. So while this one is disappearing, the next one is also coming in. It comes there, then stay there for a while, then goes away, bringing in the next image. Okay, such a nice and lovely slideshow for wedding. Okay, so you see how the process is. Simple as that. Mind you, this can be used to create a wedding invitation, a video wedding invitation, whereby in this case, where the picture is, you write your infos there. Okay, then bring maybe 1 or 2 pictures, then the rest will be infos. Okay, when you see how I started my own, you see at the beginning I wrote my wedding invitation or something like that, of that sort, before it opens up, bringing all this animation sequence. All right, so it's as simple as that. So now let's create some backgrounds for it. Okay, so we have this. Let's create new solid layer. All right, and bring it down, then come to maybe a ramp. But this one, if you have a cool background, you can lay it under, or if you have any cool image, you can lay it under as background. But since I don't have it, I'll just create some effects. Let me use a radar ramp. Okay, then bring this one in. So let me go for some greenish kind of color. A greenish kind of color. I'm coming. Let's move this one out a bit and see what we have here. Let me go for kind of a lavender style and see what it will look like. Okay, not bad. Okay, 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 not bad at all. Okay, let me leave it like this. So you have something like this. Okay, simple. You see that? A simple wedding video or image transition slideshow. Okay. And hey guys, I'm going to create a Telegram group channel whereby anyone who needs my project file, when you ask for it, I'll just post it in there for you. All right. So with this, I think we are done with this tutorial. Maybe you can just create a new adjustment layer, then go to effects, then type flare. Okay, lens flare. Okay, so we just lay it somewhere here. Then increase maybe the brightness a bit. Okay, so with this we are done. So simple like this is okay. I think the brightness is too strong, so let me reduce it to something like 120. All right, so we are done here. All right, thank you guys for all your support, and see you next week with a new tutorial. All right, thank you.